Crosshair, on the other hand, is not much of a conversationalist, but when you have to hit a precise target from 10 clicks, Crosshair's your man.
What's up guys, it's Woof Woof Wolf. This week we're taking a look at the quiet, low social EQ, toothpick-obsessed marksman, Crosshair. Crosshair's nickname derived from his amazing sharpshooting capabilities, and the clone brandished the 773 Fire Puncher rifle. As the only member of Clone Force 99 to be promoted to the rank of commander, he experienced many instances of formal military command, something you can experience as a leader in Conflict of Nations. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game where you can choose a real country to lead in a hopefully theoretical World War III. Here you can see Russia trying to invade Los Angeles. For Mother Russia! You can fight up to 128 players in real time, in games that can take weeks to complete. And you can build up your army with tanks, jets, and nuclear submarines to blow up your tax collectors. Declare war on your neighbors or forge alliances with other players and engage in epic battles to achieve
total domination.
My favorite aspect is that Conflict of Nations is cross-platform compatible, available on PC and mobile. Click on the link in the description to get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium membership for free. Offer expires in 30 days, so nab that now. CT-9904 Crosshair was a defective clone whose defects proved militarily beneficial. He and several other clones with desirable mutations were assembled into a clone commando unit known as Clone Force 99. This special unit normally worked independent of regular clone troopers and secured a 100% success rate. And at some point in the Clone Wars, Crosshair and his squad became acquainted with Cut Lawquane on Seleucami. During the Battle of Anaxes, Crosshair and the Bad Batch were deployed as special reinforcements under Jedi General Anakin Skywalker, sent to retrieve special intel at a separatist cyber center that could turn the tide of the campaign. On their flight there, Crosshair stared lengthily at Jesse, who asked him what he was looking at. Crosshair replied that their squad usually did not work with regs, as he tossed his toothpick, aggravating the ARC trooper. However, Commander Cody quickly defused the situation and briefed them on their mission. Their gunship was shot down and Cody was severely injured, with Captain Rex attempting to take command. But Crosshair and Wrecker both protested until Sergeant Hunter ceded command to Rex. After reaching the cyber center, Crosshair remained outside to secure the perimeter. Once the team acquired intel revealing that the seemingly deceased Echo was alive on Skako Minor, Crosshair retrieved the shuttle and extracted the squad back to the base. Crosshair joined General Skywalker, Rex, and the rest of the Bad Batch in their mission to retrieve Echo from the Techno-Union city of Perkle. Right as they landed, the group was attacked by Kiridax. Crosshair fired a grapple into a Kiridak that had taken Skywalker, allowing Hunter to grab on and pursue. After it escaped with the Jedi, Crosshair and his squad rendezvoused with Hunter at the edge of a Politech village. Following a short conflict, the Politechs and clones came to a ceasefire, and the chief agreed to help the team reach the Techno-Union facility. Upon their arrival, Crosshair accused Rex of blindly walking the squad into a potential trap because of his guilt for leaving Echo for dead on Lola Sayu, and said that he would have left Echo for dead because he was just another reg. This pissed off Rex, who assaulted Crosshair, and the fight was broken by Skywalker. As the team went through the base, Crosshair cleared a large group of D1 series aerial battle droids, and with Skywalker's help, he cleared another group of droids that had almost cornered the Jedi. As Rex and Tech extracted Echo, Crosshair, Skywalker, and the others continued to fight off the closing forces. After Echo was freed, the group began to escape. Crosshair momentarily lost his footing, but was saved by Wrecker. The group then made their escape on a flock of Kiridax. Upon returning to the Politech village, Crosshair spotted a group of D-Wing battle droids, managing to eliminate all but one. The escaping droid reported back to Wat Tambor, who sent a legion of D-Wing battle droids and 2 Octuptara tri-droids. Crosshair and his team successfully helped to defend the village before returning to Fort Anaxes. Echo devised a plan to drive the Separatists from the planet. Anakin and Clone Force 99 would accompany him to the Invulnerable, where he'd send false strategies to Admiral Trench. Despite approval of the plan, Crosshair and the Bad Batch had suspicions over Echo's true loyalty. Regardless, Echo managed to jam the Marauder signal, allowing the squad to enter the Dreadnought. Once on board, Crosshair and Wrecker guarded the comm vault, while Echo executed his plan, until he was electrocuted and battle droids approached their position. Crosshair eliminated them with Wrecker while Skywalker went to deal with Trench. As they returned to the Marauder, Crosshair bought them time, using his deflector disc to destroy the approaching droids. A stunned Wrecker who wanted to have the best move was told by Crosshair that he wouldn't be able to beat it. However, as they flew back to Anaxes, Crosshair shook his head in disappointment as Wrecker was provided with a remote detonator to blow up the entire ship. At the base, the team was congratulated by their Jedi generals, and while they were preparing medals, Clone Force 99 told Echo that they were departing because accolades weren't their thing, but offered him to join them, which is what he did. As Rex watched, Crosshair and the Bad Batch saluted him before departing. Fast forward to the conquest of Collar, Clone Force 99 was brought to an ongoing battle by Padawan Caleb Doom. As the rest of his unit fought on the battlefield, Crosshair remained at a higher point, taking out enemy droids from above, and sliding down the hill once the droids were defeated. Under Jedi General Depa Bilaba's orders, Crosshair prepared to accompany his squad in Doom to another ongoing battle, when Captain Gray and his clones received Order 66 and opened fire on Bilaba. As Doom ran back to help her, Crosshair and his squad pursued. Doom escaped and Bilaba was killed, horrifying Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Wrecker. The four were very confused about Order 66, while Crosshair did not appear to be, instead looking on into the distance. Hunter split the squad up, taking Crosshair with him to find Doom. While chasing after the Padawan, Crosshair fired at him, much to Hunter's confusion as he ordered him to stand down. While pursuing Doom, he was knocked out following a brief scuffle, and by the time he came to his senses, the Padawan was nowhere to be found. Crosshair asked Hunter if Doom was dead, which the sergeant confirmed, but Crosshair did not believe him. Once they had returned to Kamino, Crosshair reprimanded Hunter for not executing Order 66, surprising his team members, who pointed out that Crosshair had shared their disregard for orders in the past. All clones on Kamino were assembled to witness the newly anointed Emperor Palpatine declare the formation of the Galactic Empire. Afterwards, Crosshair and his squad met Omega, before heading to eat at the mess hall. Omega sat to eat with them, much to Crosshair's annoyance, and a group of regular clones walked by and insulted them, causing a fight to break out. Crosshair was the only one to attempt to finish his meal, but joined the fight when Echo was thrown onto the table, and consequently his food. On their way to speak to Prime Minister Lama Su, where they expected to get reprimanded, Crosshair and the others were warned by Echo that Admiral Tarkin was present on Kamino, and the squad was actually redirected to a training facility to have their combat abilities assessed. In the first exercise, Crosshair helped eliminate each of the turrets and sniped enemy combatants from one of the towers. When Tarkin began a second exercise using live rounds, Crosshair took cover at ground level. When only one training droid remained, Crosshair instructed Wrecker to toss his knife so he could shoot it and ultimately stab the target. At some point, Crosshair filed a report against his teammates for not following Order 66. Aware of this report, Tarkin sent Clone Force 99 on a mission to test their loyalty. They went to Onderon to eliminate a group of separatist insurgents, but soon learned they were primarily civilians. Crosshair, unlike the rest of his squad, was prepared to carry out his orders, and argued with Hunter when told to stand down, until they were all apprehended by Saw Gerrera. Gerrera spoke to the squad about the truth of Palpatine and the Empire, and let them free. Crosshair remained defiant, and insisted the mission be completed in full, arguing with his squad mates, to no avail. They returned to Kamino to retrieve Omega, but were immediately seized and incarcerated with the girl. Crosshair blamed Hunter for the situation they were in, due to his unwillingness to obey orders. Omega approached Crosshair and attempted to convince him not to turn on his brothers, stating that his impulses were not his fault. In perfect timing, Crosshair was then taken away to the medical bay by Tarkin, who noticed he was far more loyal to the Empire than his brothers. Nala Se noted that Crosshair's inhibitor chip was not as active as a standard clone's, but was still working. Tarkin then proceeded to have the chip's effect enhanced. Crosshair, now equipped with new armor, confronted his former escaping teammates in the hangar. Hunter briefly shared dialogue with Crosshair before the latter opened fire and forced them into cover. Crosshair managed to shoot Wrecker, knocking him down, but before he could shoot anyone else, his rifle was shot out of his hands by Omega. Crosshair continued to fire with his pistol but was unsuccessful in preventing their escape. Soon after their departure, Vice Admiral Rampart introduced Crosshair and Tarkin to 4 conscripted soldiers, chosen for elite training under Crosshair's command. One member, ES-01, was aggressive towards Crosshair, and confident that he would soon take command over the squad. The new unit was given Clone Force 99's previous failed mission on Onderon. Together, Crosshair and his new squad quickly eliminated the remaining rebels and rounded up the survivors. Crosshair interrogated one survivor for Guerrera's location, to which she responded she didn't know. Crosshair remarked that he believed her and shot her. He then ordered his squad to execute the survivors, but was met with objection from ES-01, who did not believe they should kill unarmed civilians. He attempted to give the other squad members other orders, but was shot and killed by Crosshair, who stated he was placed in command because he is willing to do what needs to be done. The remaining squad members then proceeded to execute the civilians. Upon return to Kamino, Crosshair reported that the insurgents were handled, although Guerrera escaped. When Tarkin inquired about ES-01, Crosshair claimed he was killed in battle, and the squad returned to the former bunks of the Bad Batch, where Crosshair sat in contemplation. Meanwhile, on Ord Mantell, Omega was given Crosshair's old comlink. Fast forwards, and Crosshair reported to Vice Admiral Rampart and Lama Su that the Bad Batch had been spotted on Bracca by the Scrapper Guild. The Prime Minister advised him to bring in the rogue clones alive, while Rampart ordered them terminated. Crosshair and his squad arrived on Bracca with a large force of clone troopers, landing near the wreckage of a Venator-class Star Destroyer, where the targets were last spotted. When ES-03 reported jammed sensors, Crosshair recognized it as the work of his old squad, and identified that they were still on board the shipwreck. After sending a squad to secure the Havoc Marauder, Crosshair and his troops entered the wreckage. On board, the commander ordered his men to force the Bad Batch towards the hangar. However, these were false orders, as he predicted his former comrades would tap into their comms. Consequently, the Imperials were able to surround them in the Venator's artillery deck. While he was met with pleas from Hunter and Omega to resist his inhibitor chip, Crosshair ordered his squad to target the girl. At the same time, Tech and Echo managed to activate the turbo lasers and collapse the ceiling onto Crosshair and his company, allowing them to escape. Upon recovery, Crosshair ordered ES-04 to the bridge and boarded a new class shuttle to take position in the Venator's ion engines. As he predicted, the Bad Batch tried to escape through one of the engines, and the sniper managed to pin them down, taunting them that they were surrounded. With the rogue clones trapped inside, Crosshair ordered ES-04 to fire the engines and incinerate them, but the Bad Batch managed to split the engine in half with detonated charges, resulting in a barrage of fire, blasting Crosshair backwards, knocking off his helmet and severely burning his face. Several clones arrived to recover their commander, and he furiously informed them that their targets were headed back to their ship. A clone medic bandaged Crosshair's injuries and provided him with a breath mask, and when his men informed him that the Bad Batch were fleeing, Crosshair demanded to board the shuttle to join the hunt. His shuttle chased the Havoc Marauder through Bracca's atmosphere, but it managed to escape. Eventually, Crosshair recovered from his wounds, where he accompanied Vice Admiral Rampart to Ryloth to weed out rebels there. In the capital of Lasu, Crosshair kept an eye out for rebel leader Gobi Glee, and later when he met with Rampart and Orn Free Ta, who suggested a removal of Syndulla because of his popularity with the Twi'leks, Crosshair stated that it was Glee who Ta should be focused on instead. Afterwards, the commander spied on Hera Syndulla as she accompanied Glee on an illegal supply meetup, and he fired a tracking beacon onto their ship before reporting it to the Empire. Upon their return, Crosshair took out one of the ship's engines as it entered a canyon, and managed to later capture Glee and Hera. When Chom came to her rescue, Crosshair purposely did not defend the convoy as planned by Rampart. It was only when the Imperials were forced to surrender that Rampart ordered Crosshair to incapacitate Ta with a headshot, framing Chom for an assassination attempt. Soon, Clone Force 99 was hired by Hera to rescue her parents, and arrived on Ryloth. Wrecker, Tech, and Omega attacked the Imperial refinery as a diversion, while Hunter and Echo extracted the Syndullas. Familiar with the Bad Batch's strategy, Crosshair ordered his elite squad to remain outside the palace to set up a trap. After Captain Hauser came out to protest the Empire, Crosshair ordered for his and the other traitorous clones' arrests, but failed to shoot down the Bad Batch's escaping shuttle. He then requested Rampart for permission to hunt his old squad down, which was approved. Back on Kamino, Crosshair and Rampart oversaw the transport of all clone troopers off-world, with the commander stating that the operation was ahead of schedule. Rampart ordered him to ensure that every viable clone was mobilized and sent off Kamino, and when asked about the Kaminoans' future by Crosshair, he responded to keep an eye on them. Meanwhile, on Darrow, Hunter was captured and apprehended by the Empire, where Crosshair paid him a visit. He told his former sergeant that although he hoped for the entire squad, Hunter would suffice, before transporting him back to Kamino. Crosshair lured the rest of the Bad Batch to Kamino with Hunter's comm, knowing they would come despite being an obvious trap. Hunter tried persuading Crosshair to leave the Empire, but was unsuccessful. When the Havoc Marauder was detected entering the planet, Crosshair let his men know that the Bad Batch would come to them, remarking that they don't leave their own behind, most of the time. After relocating to the training grounds, Crosshair predicted the rogue clones would expect a trap waiting for them at the front door. After successfully capturing them, he sent ES-02 to find Omega, ordering her to put the girl on a shuttle off-world. Hunter tried to persuade Crosshair to return to his old squad, while Crosshair tried to convince them to join the Empire. He also revealed that he felt betrayed by his old comrades, as they had abandoned him. Crosshair, however, was willing to give them something they hadn't given him: a chance, and ordered his elite squad to stand down. But when they refused, he fired a shot from his blaster towards a reflector disc, killing his entire squad. Downstairs, Omega and AZ-3 took out ES-02 and activated the training droids in an attempt to help. Crosshair and his old teammates were then forced to work together to take out the droids. ES-02, who regained consciousness, returned to the training grounds and witnessed her dead squad mates, and Crosshair fighting with the Bad Batch. She believed Crosshair turned traitor and informed Rampart that he had lost control of the situation, to which the Vice Admiral ordered his Venators to sink Tapoka City into the sea, letting the clones die together. When Hunter tried to explain the chips again, Crosshair revealed that he had long removed his chip and was genuinely loyal to the Empire. Before he could fire, Hunter stunned him and examined the burn scar on his head, suggesting that Crosshair's chip was damaged and removed after his injuries on Braca. When Crosshair regained consciousness, he realized he was trapped in a flooded room with Omega and AZ, and after a struggle, they saved Crosshair, before escaping the flooding room with Wrecker's help. The entire group managed to survive an attack from a large creature, attempting to bite through the exterior of the tube, when AZ managed to reboot the power and electrocute it. Once they had made it to Nala Se's secret lab, Crosshair was told that this is where he gained his mutations, and that Omega saw it all happen because she is technically older than them. Crosshair told Omega that just because she's a defective clone, that doesn't make her one of them, referring to the Bad Batch. And Omega responded that she wanted to believe that Crosshair was so cold because of the inhibitor chip, but he proved her wrong. They had discovered that the tube connecting the facility to the Marauders' landing pad was destroyed, so they devised a plan to split up into medical pods to rise to the surface. Crosshair was paired with Hunter, and Omega triggered thermal detonators to let the water flood the room, carrying the pods up, where AZ guided them around the debris. Hunter, Crosshair, Echo, Wrecker, and Tech made it up to the surface, but AZ lost power and Omega left her pod to save him. One of the dumbest moves I've ever seen. No one above the surface could see Omega nor AZ except for Crosshair, who fired a grapple hook onto AZ and reeled them both up. With the Bad Batch aiming their weapons at him, Crosshair surrendered his rifle to Wrecker. Upon returning to the landing platform, Hunter gave Crosshair another chance to rejoin their team, but Crosshair declined. Omega thanked him for saving AZ, and Crosshair remarked, "Consider us even." He watched the Marauder depart while waiting for the Empire's return on the platform alone. Once again, check out Conflict of Nations, a free online PvP strategy game that takes place in World War III. Click the link in the description for an exclusive gift to get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium membership. Offer ends in 30 days, so make sure to nab that now. And that's another episode of Clone of the Week. Don't forget to drop a like and comment below for who you want to see next, and smash that subscribe button. Check out our awesome new merch on CrowdMade for a limited time only, which includes an awesome new dad cap and a windbreaker. And a huge thank you to our patrons. Consider supporting at patreon.com/woofwoofwolf. This is Woof Woof Wolf signing off, and as always, woof woof.